Welcome back to the Norse BenchWarmers podcast. I'm your host, Colton Smith. Here joined by producer Josh Northcutt, co-host Ben Miller, and director Garrett Jordan. Fellas, we're here for a college football show, potentially our last non-live college football show of the season. What are our thoughts going in?
Season went way too fast, man. I don't understand how it happens. It's funny because one of our professors, Gibson, always talks about how November flies by. No, football season flies by.
Yeah, I agree. This football season has flown by, though. So much fun to watch this year.
Yeah.
You okay over there, Garrett?
I'm sad. I want it to go.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do with 10 hours on a Saturday now?
I mean, there's college basketball, Garrett. We can introduce you to another great sport. I promise you.
Yeah.
If it fills my time, why not?
Hey, I love that. I love to hear it. I wish I had that same attitude about MLB, but they only play the Yankees and Red Sox.
Hey, remember that job you
television.
might be applying for? You may not want to say that.
Yeah, well, anyways, I want to go ahead and make my announcement that I was going to make in the first one. That just popped in my head. This will be the last day of the last Norse BenchWarmers podcast of the beard. I got you there. And the hair. I will be getting a haircut and shaving it off for graduation. If you watch Beyond the Score, which you should, you will get another day of at least the hair. I might shave tonight, but we'll be going back to nice and clean for graduation.
Oh, that's cute.
I know everyone cares.
Gotta please the mom.
I know everyone cares. She didn't even ask. I just figured she probably feels that
I
way.
was getting more worried there was going to be something else bigger, like you were just like quitting everything, and I'll be like, all right, well.
I had you there for a second. You should in the video just like elongate that, somehow make that go longer. But just getting a shave and a haircut because everyone cares about that, you know.
Yeah. Can't believe graduation is here, man.
It's so here.
Yeah.
You got your cap and gown?
I did. I ordered it this week. Yeah. What about you?
Oh, yeah. I got mine about a month ago. They apparently threw it on the ground back home and just like it was rained on and all that. But I think it'll be fine.
Nice.
Anywho, let's go ahead and talk about our college football playoff rankings that came out yesterday. Garrett, I think, has that over there. So let's hear it.
I do indeed. I'll go ahead and run down this bracket format, and then if we want to highlight any of those other ranked teams that were outside the bracket, we'll go ahead and do that. But for your four teams with a bye, we have Oregon remaining as the number 1 team in the country with that first bye. Texas staying as the number 2 seed with the second bye. SMU jumping up into that third bye spot despite being ranked number 8. And Boise State retaining that 4th bye spot with a ranking of 10. Now, as far as the home matchups go, for 5 and 12, you have number 5 seeded Penn State would travel. I believe I'm reading that right. No, would host Arizona State, who right now is the Big 12 champion representative. Your next game would be Notre Dame hosting Alabama at the 11 seed.
I told you, I think that's a nightmare situation for Alabama.
We'll get into it. Next would be the number 7 seed Georgia hosting the number 10 seed Indiana Hoosiers. And the last matchup would be the number 8 seed Ohio State Buckeyes hosting the number 9 seed Tennessee Volunteers. And then for everyone that was ranked outside of that top 12 area, and I think this is obviously where we're going to get our most discourse, is Miami ranked 12 but left out of the college football playoff over a 9-3 Alabama team who is ranked 1 spot higher. We'll get into it. South Carolina, after knocking off Clemson, doesn't rise at all. They rise from 15 to 14, I think. I thought they would have gained some more spots. Mississippi State somehow stayed over them, but I guess that's that head-to-head matchup that happened in September.
Who did you say?
The committee did speak on that and said the head-to-head didn't matter.
It did matter. Okay, well, there you go. BYU, I feel like a lot of people are feeling that they're getting disrespected, being ranked 18th despite being 10-2. Colorado sort of staying down there, like around the low 20s, 23rd is what they're ranked right now, so they're more than most likely out of it. But it was
they're out of
fun.
They don't have any other games to play.
Yeah,
right.
It was fun while it lasted. But that's it.
Yeah, to go a little bit into it, last night, Wade, it's the 80 at Michigan. I can't think of his name right now because I hate him. Just big fat guy. Anyway, Marshall, I think his name is. Garrett, look that up for me.
Okay.
But anyway, so he spoke last night and stated that if you do not play this weekend, your info or your record will not go into effect. So basically, he has already pronounced Miami, well, maybe not Miami, but Ole Miss, South Carolina, dead. They have no chance of getting in. Alabama obviously is pending the whole Clemson SMU game, but then they turned around and stated, well, if SMU were to lose, we're not going to guarantee them a spot. How do you not guarantee a team that is 8th right now and playing an extra game not a guaranteed a spot? What is this committee doing besides, I don't know, ESPN in their pocket?
Yeah, that's about it. It's literally just ESPN making what they want, and they know they have to honor some stuff, or else the integrity is lost. But yeah, they would just put the whole SEC and make it a tournament if they could.
Mm-hmm.
Ward Manuel.
That's it, Manuel. It is Manuel. Okay, thank you. But he's the head, which, by the way, I'm not a fan of that. Also, the head of Michigan football gets to decide and be the voice of the committee.
Yeah,
you need to get 12 people. 16 people, whatever the rule is, outside.
As unbiased as possible.
Yeah, outside the sport who don't have money affiliated. You know what happens when 4 Big Ten teams make the playoff? Michigan gets part of that money. It doesn't just magically just go
ridiculous.
To those 4 teams. It goes to the Big Ten conference
exactly
where it's split shared.
It's exactly how it works in college basketball, because I remember when Oakland made it, NKU got a share of that.
Which, yeah, so it's disgusting when it comes to that. So, yeah, they're going to have their insight. And I'm pretty sure that the committee probably also has 2 or 3 SEC presidents on it and everything else. It needs to be 12 to 16 names who know college sports, who are outside, like, the realm of being able to be bought by ESPN or be able to bought by Fox or NBC or ABC or whoever it is.
The one thing I will argue is that there are not many people out there like that. But I do prefer maybe an ESPN, maybe a more press committee, or just somebody that understands football and is outside.
But you want to say the press committee? The press committee moved Miami all the way down to 14.
No, that's just because it's voting and it's stupid.
Well, correct. But I mean, that's why you can't even trust the press. There has to be a better way to go about this, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know where it is. And honestly, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to actually think about this and how to make it fair.
Yeah.
But people whose pockets can be lined by this should not be voiced.
That's just the thing. That's all it's going to be, is the SEC lining people's pockets, Big Ten lining people's pockets.
Yeah, let's discuss this Alabama being ranked over Miami a bit more in depth, right? So Miami 10-2 on the season. Their 2 losses to a really good Georgia Tech team that took Georgia to 8 overtimes on Friday. Let's not forget, was that a Thursday game or Friday game? I can't remember. We'll get into that.
It was
their only other
Friday.
their only other loss was this past weekend to a 9-3 Syracuse team that probably should have been ranked a while ago. In my opinion. So that's 2 losses to 2 very good teams, and Alabama lost to a 6-6 Vanderbilt team.
All right, that's not even their worst loss.
I know it's not, because then they got stomped by a 6-6 Oklahoma team, which is even worse. I don't understand how Alabama is ranked above Miami.
I do,
And the
because
absolute
Alabama.
hate that
It's because of money.
The absolute hate that the committee is getting right now is totally warranted and deserved, because that's just ridiculous.
It's the same.
is.
It's the same thing that happened to Florida State last year. The ACC keeps getting screwed, and this is why the ACC will not exist after 2028.
yeah.
Just face it. And it's, as a North Carolina basketball fan, it's terrifying me, because the Big Ten's not bringing Duke, the SEC's not bringing Duke.
Right.
So am I going to lose Carolina Duke? Am I going to lose Carolina in the Pussy Pack? Am I going to lose Carolina in Wake Forest? Like, no. Like, this is not okay. You can't keep telling me that, like, this matters and that matters. And you want to go into Miami, but this is the ordeal that I was talking about, and I brought it up in our group chat. South Carolina was out because of the head-to-head. I debate it. I get where you're coming from, and after Garrett, you went into full detail. I get where you guys are coming from. Right now, they are better than both Alabama and Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. Head-to-head matters in my world, but I get your guys' point. However, Ole Miss and Alabama were 3-1 and 3-1 versus similar opponents. Ole Miss beat Georgia 28-10.
This is the post Lane Kiffin made.
Bama beat Georgia 41-34. Ole Miss worst loss in that compared 29-26 overtime loss at LSU. Bama's worst loss, 24-3 at Oklahoma. I'm sorry, Ole Miss should be in over Alabama.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Either South Carolina or Ole Miss should be in that spot if you're not going to give it to Miami. But truth is, Miami should be in that discussion.
Absolutely.
If you really want to dig deep, I saw a post, and I don't know who exactly posted it. I'm ashamed, but I'm sure if you Google BY or Twitter, look up BYU and their stats, BYU has a case to describe making the college football playoff because they missed the playoff by 9 points.
Right.
Well, I saw a very interesting tweet where somebody blindly put out BYU's resume, had people vote should they be in the playoff or not. 87% of the people voted that they should be in, and then it was revealed, and everyone's like, "Oh no, they shouldn't be in." I was like, "Oh, just because it's BYU?"
It's no, that's what it is. Everybody wants the big dogs, and everybody wants the brand.
Yeah.
My point is, it's not just the committee that's doing this. It's also fans that are very much just name based and whatnot. But yeah, it's just crazy.
Ben, you got to take on all this because I know we talked about it a lot. We kind of talked over you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. But I want to go back to Alabama real quick.
Yes.
So after when they lost to Oklahoma in Norman, like they got destroyed, I was thinking to myself, yeah, their playoff hopes are done. And the fact that they're in this week, committee, what are we doing? This makes no damn sense.
It didn't make sense last year either.
Yeah.
A team went undefeated in a Power 4 conference and got left out.
Yep.
Yeah,
They don't care about the ACC. They made the groundwork last year, and they told us we don't care about the ACC.
Yeah. I mean, Miami should be in over Alabama. Simple as that. I mean, their two losses were two competitive teams, like we mentioned, Syracuse and what was the other one?
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech. Yeah. So, yeah, Miami needs to be in.
My thing is going to be, honestly, if we talk on Sunday and we see Clemson beat SMU and SMU get knocked out of the college football playoff, I might boycott the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I might not let us talk about it on the show. Garrett's going to have to find another way to cope. But that's bullcrap. There's no way you take SMU out of this playoff. No way. They're 11-1, and their one loss was by 3 points to BYU. And
it was ranked top 10 throughout the year.
Correct. And then their other loss might be to a Clemson team.
But Garrett mentioned BYU fell to 18, and you thought that was a little bit of a slide?
I thought it was an incredible slide. I don't understand
know why? Because SMU, if SMU loses, they point out, oh, BYU's not even a top 15 team, and they lost. That's their one loss on the year.
They would have a loss to a 17.
Same thing they've done to Syracuse, keeping them out to make other losses look worse and wins look not as well. And then same thing they've done with Duke as well, being 9-3. Two ACC teams that should be in the top 25 but are not, and that is what is benefiting. Yeah. Has SMU beaten? They beat Syracuse, right?
I got the schedule pulled up right now.
They beat Duke for sure.
No, they beat Duke in overtime.
They beat Duke in overtime.
I'm glad that you brought up Duke because Duke is a team that deserved way more credit this year.
Beat ranked Louisville team. They were ranked at the time. Went into Duke, beat a Pittsburgh team that was ranked at that time as well.
They didn't play Syracuse, though?
They did not play the Cuse.
My point was going to be that if they played Cuse and they played Duke, that's two top 25 teams that should be top 25, but were not given until this week. Syracuse finally got put in there.
Yeah, so it's just the ACC, SEC bias. We've all seen it. We all got to get used to it. We tried to warn Garrett, and here we are. We're getting worked up about it, too, now, Garrett.
Yeah.
So
That's
I was just
college
early
basketball.
to it.
Everyone who deserves to get in pretty well gets in, and then there's teams that get in there that don't deserve it, but we have at-large bids and plenty of room for everybody, and that's just beautiful.
Now that you mentioned college basketball, Indiana State should have been in over Virginia. The fact that
Wholeheartedly agree.
The fact that Virginia got in.
However, Ben, either way, neither team was making it beyond the first weekend, so I didn't really care. Anyway,
let's get back on track here.
College football is the show, but that's a great point. That's outstanding point, Ben.
It's six-pack recap time. Quickly just running through the games. Georgia beat Georgia Tech in an 8 overtime. Yes, people, 8 overtime matchup, 44-42. South Carolina squeaked out a win versus Clemson, 17-14. Also, if Clemson wins the ACC, that's another win that is plus South Carolina. Just throwing that out there. Syracuse 42-38 over Miami, ending Miami's hopes of making it to the college football playoff most likely. Texas 17-7 over A&M. Ugly game. And Iowa State 29-21 over Kansas State to get themselves into the Big 12 championship. And of course, I will talk about the best of the rest, but I'll save that for me.
Am I the only one that personally thinks Texas is overrated as hell?
No, I think they're absolutely overrated, and I think whoever gets them in the first round is going to be extremely happy. I think they can beat them, whoever it is that gets them, because
Who is it currently?
they got the bye week.
The bye week.
And then they'll probably lose to Georgia this weekend, but I don't want to give away that pick yet.
You just gave it away, but nice try.
If the current standings hold, which they won't, obviously, but right now the scenario is Texas would play the winner of Georgia and Indiana.
Well, Georgia beats Indiana. So.
Not only do they beat them, Sig's run ends very, very badly.
I don't think it ends very, very bad.
Georgia rolls.
They have Carson Beck at quarterback.
Rolls.
They do not roll.
Let's talk Texas.
No,
they do not
they'll
roll.
make it close.
You go ahead, Garrett. You go ahead and talk the recap.
Oh, you just want me to run down all the games?
Or I just did, but if you I'm just throwing it to you. You
want to talk about? Talk, Garrett.
I wasn't in tune to Texas because I was watching my LSU Tigers. They beat that team that Alabama lost to, but yeah,
Of course.
look, kind
Oklahoma?
of out of it at this season. Yeah. LSU beat Oklahoma at home. Let's see. Going back to this Georgia and Georgia Tech game, what absolute cinema that we got on Friday night. Oh my goodness. You don't get an 8 overtime game very often, and this one absolutely lived up to it because Georgia Tech had the lead just about the entirety of this game, and Georgia found a way to claw back into it at the end and tie it to send it to overtime. And then it was back and forth and back and forth and back and forth in overtime. And it was probably one of the most electric, if not the most fun game I've watched all season. It was incredible. Haynes King, 303 yards and 2 touchdowns. Carson Beck, 297 yards and 5 passing touchdowns on the day. I mean, this game had it all. It was incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Haynes King, I need him to stay at Georgia Tech.
That would be nice.
I need to hope the NIL doesn't get involved with that kid and a lot of this team. I need this Georgia Tech team to run it back next year.
As a side note, the Georgia Tech coach, Brent Key, I love that dude. That dude is a football coach through and through. He is one of the best. Does anybody else have any other thoughts on this game before I want to talk a little bit about the Scar and Clemson game?
I got nothing.
Yeah.
All right. But Scar and Clemson, this was another one of those games that I think not a lot of people thought it was going to be as defense heavy as it was. I mean, both of these defenses showed up to play. The difference here in the game was Lenora Sellers' legs. How about this stat line? 16 carries, 166 yards on the ground, and 2 touchdowns. That'll win you games if your quarterback's doing that for you.
Yeah.
Can I actually talk about something also real fast?
Sure.
Just going back on this whole South Carolina thing.
Sure.
So we punished Florida State last year because they had a backup quarterback, correct? Mm-hmm. So shouldn't the rule be if your backup quarterback, it doesn't exactly count on your level of conversation, like your what's the word I'm looking for? Like your resume, I guess, when we're talking teams, because Sellers didn't play the entire second half versus LSU, despite them rolling versus LSU in the first half.
Well, as Robbie Ashford did come in for when he was injured.
So that being said, I mean, should that game count? I don't think so. That's not the same team that's playing right now. So South Carolina, again, should be in over Alabama.
You make a fair argument. But yeah, this was an incredible win for a South Carolina program. I mean, 9-3 on the season when I think a lot of people didn't really have too many high expectations for them. And it was fun to watch them kind of come into their own as a team and see Lenora Sellers develop. I mean, he's still just a freshman, people. We have 3 more years of Lenora Sellers potentially. So if he stays with South Carolina and chooses not to transfer, South Carolina could be a real threat in the SEC for the first time in a while.
You're also forgetting that his number 1 weapon, Nick Harbor's only a sophomore.
Nick Harbor is also only a sophomore. So this is a very young South Carolina team with an energetic coach in Shane Beamer that Josh seems to think wants to go to Virginia Tech, but I don't think he will.
No, honestly, if these guys come back, absolutely. But if you see a mass hiatus of people being like, okay, hey, coach, my deals got here, there, blah, 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 why wouldn't you just go to Virginia Tech where clearly you're being able to get the talent at South Carolina? You get that same talent in Virginia Tech in the ACC, you're rolling.
Yes, this
for
is
sure.
true. Moving on here, Miami Hurricane going into the Dome and losing to the Syracuse Orange 42-38 in what ended up being an absolute quarterback duel. We got Cam Ward throwing for 349 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Kyle McCord throwing for 380 and 3 touchdowns. But in my opinion, the difference in this game was that Syracuse rushing attack with LaQuint Allen. 22 carries, they worked him. 22 carries for 82 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. I think that was the separator in this game. And this was a game that was tightly contested for a while, and Syracuse was able to get that late touchdown and just put them over the Hurricanes. But this was another good game, and it'll be interesting to see what the committee does with Miami. But obviously, we've already talked about kind of the committee said that they're out.
Everything comes around.
Yep.
Everything comes
I
around.
may or may not have thrown something when I saw that final score, because remember I called that like months ago. I was like, that looks like a trap game to me, and then I kind of got to it. And I was
mean,
like,
me and you both were on that. I thought that Q's team was very good.
I picked them.
I'm gonna say
Garrett ended up reaping the benefits.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't remember who all picked them. It'd help if I would put the shows
I remember
up. But
I picked both Clemson and Miami to lose because I thought both the teams they were playing were good.
yeah, so that's just
Good job, Garrett. Look
yeah.
at you.
I mean, Miami needs to be in the playoff over Alabama, but I can't keep reiterating that.
Yeah.
But they had it in their hands, and they dropped the ball. But I mean, you can't be upset about that. You scored 38 points. You just didn't stop Kyle McCord, and what goes around comes around.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to this Miami offense, though, I mean, Cam Ward definitely showed up with this Miami offense as always. But, I mean, like I said, though, this team deserves to be in the college football playoff over Alabama. But the one thing they need to clean up, though, is their defense. I feel like that's the one thing they need to clean up if hopefully they get into the playoffs.
Every game's a high-scoring game with them on offense and on defense, so that's a great point.
But I think they're out of it. I think technically, like, there's
Yeah, they're
no
cooked.
way they can be. I don't think there's any way they can be.
Because
in it.
Bama's not going to lose this week.
Well, because they don't play.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Thank
so-
you, Josh.
My bad. I don't know if you all saw this Texas A&M situation, but I guess there was a video that Marcel Reed might be tipping his plays. Emmanuel Echo talks about it, that A&M quarterbacks are taught how to stand in certain situations of when they're running the ball and when they're passing the ball, like their feet set up. And somebody's gone back and watched like 3 tapes of Texas A&M playing, and it's the same thing. Like when he's back with his left foot back, it's a clear run play, but when he's standing like straight up and down, shoulder width apart, it's a pass play. It's like he was telling the defense what to do, and you could just watch Texas players come up to the line and kind of look at his feet and then back up, look at his feet and back up.
Interesting.
It could be a mistake by, I believe Marcel Reed is a freshman, where it's just he's so used to doing things in high school, nobody picks up on that. But in college, when you have people who only watch tape or video from the crowd, that that happens. So, but
I love
that game was
picture you sent me of him.
which one?
The one you sent me of good old. You called him an honorable veteran.
He is an honorable Marine.
He is.
I said it last week, and I'll say it
that.
again. He's an honorable Marine.
Yep.
He's a great
that.
human being. Might be a little bit of a psychopath, but hey,
So
you
is
know what?
Josh.
He's our guy.
Josh
and we
sees
should build a
himself
statue.
in Connor.
But yeah, no, that Texas A&M game was very, very boring. A&M did exactly what I thought they would do and choked away any chance they had of reaching the playoffs. And Texas isn't good. I don't believe it. I don't think they're going to have a chance in the playoffs. They're not one of my 3 threats when I have in my head. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, I mean, overall, though, I was impressed with Texas's defense, though, proving why they're one of the best, in my opinion. I mean, they were able to pressure the A&M offense really well, especially with Reed, to eliminate the pass game, eliminate the run game a little bit. So, yeah, overall, it was a good performance for sure.
Yeah, just to wrap up our 6-pack here really quick with the Kansas State Wildcats and Iowa State Cyclones. Iowa State winning 29-21. I obviously I wasn't as in tune on this game, and even looking at the stats, it doesn't look like there were very many like individual performances that jump off the page. So really, this to me just looks like Iowa State taking care of business and getting into the Big 12 playoffs. So good on you, Iowa State.
Absolutely. And if you guys are okay, I'm just going to run down a few other games.
Let's get to it.
Yeah. So Tulane slipped up any chance that they had of making the college football playoff, losing to Memphis on Thursday night. Boise State did what they needed to do and took care of Oregon State. Ashton Genty only ran for 226 yards. No big deal. Colton's over there still fuming. Colorado put up 52, and Travis Hunter had, I believe, 3 touchdown catches, but they also were throwing while they were up 40-something to nothing, so we can put an
That's what
asterisk
we call
on.
stat padding.
Yes, that is exactly what we
Not
have.
the first case.
That being called of that. Notre Dame and USC. Notre Dame with not one but 2 pick sixes in the fourth quarter to hold on and win 49-35 and probably sure themselves up of potentially the 5-hole in the playoff. Tennessee survived Vanderbilt 36-23 despite Vanderbilt getting out to a 17-0 lead. Indiana 66-0 over Purdue, resulting in something beautiful happening.
There it is.
Bye-bye,
over
Walters.
shoulder. Goodbye, Walters.
No, they're gone.
Oh, we
and
lost a
Bye
bye.
Walters is still there, though, right?
We have a bye, Walters.
But yeah, too high. All right. But yeah,
E. Walters.
E. Walters.
but anyway, Colton's very excited about that.
Yeah.
Obviously, and then I believe there's another game that might have happened, guys. I don't know.
The game.
The game. Softer than Charmin, softer than baby poop. I don't care what it is. We dominate you. We absolutely baby poop. They are so soft, and I don't care. I'm telling you right now, we own them 4 in a row. Ooh, the weather beat us. That was a year ago. There's your excuse. Ooh, you had a coach. Oh no, wait, beat you there too. Oh, we beat you again. We beat you. We own you. You're born on third base. Ryan Day. You can't handle it. Oh, and now Buckeye fans want to come out and be like, oh, well, you know what? We can still make the national championship. You know what, Jack Sawyer? Shut your mouth. 0-4. 0-4. Top 10 recruit. Oh, yeah. You have 1 sack versus Michigan in the 4 years you played against them. You're soft. You're soft. You're soft. We are Michigan football. We are the best damn program in the land, and we are back. You want to talk about a light changing and a flip of the switch in a matter of 2 weeks. It took 2 weeks. I was sitting there at 5-5. Man, I was depressed. I was like, man, this just seems like a wasted year. And then we go out and we drop 50 on Northwestern. And I'm like, okay, you know what? That happens. And then you know what happens? We get Bryce Underwood. Thanks, Garrett. And then we turn around and what happens? Oh, I don't know. We beat Ohio. It is so beautiful. It doesn't matter what happens for the next 365 days. I don't care if they win the damn national championship. It doesn't matter to me, guys, because they can't beat us.
Yeah.
I've never seen somebody so thrilled with a win over Ohio. I mean, the Bobcats, like what?
But no, in all honesty, I was so proud of that team. I was texting a buddy the entire game, and I was like, those boys, if you watch them coming out of the tunnel, it was their Super Bowl. And they knew they could not let us fans down, and they didn't. They went out there and they played Michigan football, and they smacked them in the mouth. And I watched Ryan Day and Chip Kelly have the worst game plan in the history of Ohio State football. You've got 3 potential first-round wide receivers out there, and what are you doing? You're running at Mason Grant and Kenneth Grant. Gentlemen, those are 2 dudes who are going to possibly go in the top 10, if not the top 15. They're guys who I'm talking I want in stripes next year because they fixed a D-line problem like that.
Yeah, I heard a stat that said it was like the past 5 meetings, whoever has the most rushing yards wins this game, and it seemed like that's what Ryan Day was trying to do when Ohio State is not built as a running program.
Yeah, they're built soft. They recruit. They honestly, you know what this is, and people laugh at me for saying this. This is watching the Bengals play and the Lions play. It's a team that's built in the trenches, and it's a team that's built with special players on the outside and built by not what's the position like running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. What are those
positions?
Skill positions. Yeah, why we build in the trenches. We just went out and we got the number 2 recruit at offensive tackle. We flipped DN from Auburn. Michigan football is back, and I'm telling you right now, I got bad news for everybody. We've got receipts. Oregon, you're next. Don't you worry. We kept that receipt. when we go to Oregon next year, yeah, it's your turn to pay.
I think I like happy Josh Rants better than angry Josh Rants.
Yeah. So do I. Yeah.
Also, one last thing. We also fired our offensive coordinator. It's beautiful. It's so great. Dude, this dude has been horrible at playing calls all year, and they were just like, oh, I know we beat Michigan or Ohio, but last time I checked, we only scored 13 points. That's not enough for us. You got to go. And then we're going out and we're going to get a bigger, better name. One actually who might be coming from LSU. Thanks, Garrett. So, yeah, it is so much fun to see.
Oh.
I literally cannot be happier to be a Michigan Wolverine fan. And I don't care what happens for the next 365 days. I can still talk my crap. You can't beat us. But their excuses are there. And also, plant the flag in the middle. Stop being little bitches.
Oh, and what money can buy you.
I will,
you know what?
I will say on that situation, I feel that Ohio State has a right to defend.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I have nothing
I
wrong.
see a lot of people
I have nothing
calling,
wrong with
yeah.
that. No, absolutely. But it was fun watching Jack Sawyer cry.
It was.
Boy, oh boy, that looked like the biggest toddler baby out there. I'm like, dude, he'll be a Bengal because of it.
Yeah.
Dude, softer. Yeah. Anyway, it's time to talk. We got a lot of games to
We
pitch
got a lot
out.
of games.
Really quickly.
We set ourselves up for not a lot of time.
Really quickly, I
So,
want to wrap
I've never-
up. Really quickly, I want to wrap up the flag planting trilogy with NC State going into UNC and planting that flag, winning 35-30. Of course, the brawl breaks out. Sorry about your luck, Josh. And then the Florida Gators going into Tallahassee and beating, I'm not going to call it upsetting, the Florida State Seminoles 31-11, planting their flag right at midfield. Florida State going from 13-0 to 2-10. How's it feel? Gotta suck.
I don't know if you actually saw this though, but Florida's coach and Texas coach both stopped their players from actually trying to plant the flag.
I do
Texas
remember
went, Texas
hearing
went to
about
do it,
that.
and Sark said we're not doing that
I
here.
do remember seeing that.
I feel like it is kind of a.
And I remember Billy Napier saying it's a childish thing to do.
I do
Right.
feel it's a little childish, but I also.
Plan it.
Pla-
Plan it.
And plus, people are gonna get more physical with one another, though. Like I guarantee, like something serious is
We
gonna
got
happen.
pepper spray.
I mean, yeah, but
As you should.
I mean, yeah, but when it comes to these rivalry games, though, like some of these players, they got to use their heads a little bit because we know how intense they can be, though, because they can. So, like somebody can potentially get really, really hurt, in my opinion. So
you
that's
really,
why.
really hurt playing football too, though.
I mean,
So I don't,
true.
you already have them thinking.
If you
differently
don't
about
want it to happen, beat us in 60 minutes. You couldn't beat
That's-
us on the field anyway.
That is a great point. It's just a weird position because I see why. Like if I was a player, I'd probably be right there holding the flag, putting it down on the midfield. And then if I was a player on the other team, I'd be up there fighting them to stop that too. So it's a weird point of pride. But let's go ahead and get into these 6-pack picks. It's a little more than 6. It's a 9-pack this week.
We got them all, baby.
That's a representative of what Josh was drinking after that Kool-Aid, of course, that Ohio State-Michigan game. But we got, first off, Conference USA, Friday, 7 p.m. on CBS Network. Western Kentucky versus Jacksonville State. Call me a homer pick, but I'm going with Western Kentucky. I've watched a couple of their games. I like this team. It's a pretty fun little CUSA team to watch. I have them beating Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean,
State.
WKU leads the Conference USA in passing yards. This offense knows how to put points on the board, though. Jacksonville State, second in scoring in Conference USA, averaging 35.5 points. So overall, though, I feel like this is going to be a really good performance by both squads on offense, but I feel like Western Kentucky has the edge, so give me the Hilltoppers.
This two teams literally played last week with Western Kentucky winning 19-17. I think Jacksonville State held some stuff back, and also Rich Rodriguez used to coach at Michigan, so go ahead and give me Jacksonville State.
We can't escape that damn school.
Yeah, no, you took the words right out of my mouth. Jacksonville State winning 19-17. I think they roll again.
No,
Jacksonville-
Western Kentucky won.
Oh, duh. I read that wrong. Yeah, Western Kentucky won. I think Jacksonville State gets revenge here. Jacksonville State wins.
Interesting. UNLV versus Boise State, Mountain West Championship. UNLV has been an up and down season. Boise State has won every game since losing to Oregon. That kicks off at 8 p.m. Fox on Friday. Give me Boise State, Ashton Genty to get the win here, cementing their playoff berth. Good Lord.
Yeah, for myself, I'm going with Boise State as well. I mean, overall, you got two great offenses, though, but I feel like with Boise State's rush offense, especially with Ashton Genty, that's going to be beneficial and it'll be the difference. So give me Boise State.
Another rematch. Boise State won this one 29-24. I believe we all basically watched it that Friday night back in October.
Yep.
I like Boise State to win again. Ashton Genty being the star of the show and maybe putting up 300 yards on the ground.
Yeah, we obviously, as
Don't
Josh
make me
mentioned,
giggle.
we saw this matchup earlier in the season. Boise is favored by 4 in this game. That's a tight spread. I think even with the tight spread, I think UNLV covers, but Boise wins. I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah. Let's move on down to Tulane versus Army. 8 p.m. ABC Friday night. I am going to go ahead and vote Army because hoorah!
I can't believe that game got an ABC spot. That's beautiful.
It's on Friday.
Yeah, that is
It's
beautiful
the
for
night
sure.
game on ABC.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely is for sure. I mean, overall, you got 2 great defenses, but I was going back and forth on this one. I think Army will pull it off with their offense.
Hoorah!
Go Navy. Beat Army. Don't care. Tulane.
Okay.
I'm gonna ride with the Army here. I gotta ride with those Black Knights. 10-1. I don't know. I just got a feeling.
Hoorah!
Yes, sir.
Moving on down to the Big 12 Championship, which is a noon kickoff on ABC. Big noon kickoff. Gotta hate that word. And that's obviously on Saturday. Iowa State going up against Arizona State. 2 teams that have just been kind of all over the place, but Arizona State has definitely been charging here to the end. I want to hear your guys' thoughts.
For myself, I'm going with Arizona State in this one, though. I think Cam Skatebo, am I saying that right?
Scatterboo.
Scatterboo. Excuse me. Yeah, I
Boo.
feel like
Okay.
Boo or Bo?
I think it's Scatterboo.
Okay.
Scatterboo. Yeah, I feel like this guy, he's going to be a factor, especially on the ground. So I feel like that's going to be the difference going up against this Iowa State defense. So give me the Sun Devils in the Big 12.
I want to pick Arizona State. I really do. But I'm going to go with Matt Campbell and Iowa State. I just think there's a little bit too much there, and they've been the better team all year of the 2.
Yeah, I think for me this comes down to a battle of who's the better young quarterback. You got Sam Leavitt for Arizona State, redshirt freshman who's been playing lights out for Arizona State. On the other side of the field, you've got Racco Becht for Iowa State, a bit rocky, haha, no pun intended. But he's been playing well as well. Had that great comeback against UCF. I have to lean Iowa State here just because I think they've been in this situation most recently where they're fighting for a spot in a playoff. So I have Iowa State winning here and getting into the college football playoff.
Well, here I thought I was going to be saving the graphic because y'all would go Arizona State, but I'm sticking with Iowa State. My guts, Matt Campbell, future Purdue head coach. Please.
Please.
Yeah, I think he's also just a great coach, great team. I like Becht. I think he's the better quarterback in this scenario. Arizona State will give him hell. It'll be a close game. It'll be a fun game. And I think it'll actually be free on a Saturday to watch it. Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And give me Iowa State, though, to win this game. Big game, though. Moving on down to the MACtion. Their championship is also a noon start on ESPN Saturday. We have, are they considered Ohio State to you?
No, they're Ohio too.
He doesn't respect the state.
Oh, I don't. I'm from there and I hate it.
So is the other one the Ohio and this is Ohio?
Yeah, but with a small T.
Okay. So we have Ohio, the real Ohio, the Bobcats, playing against Miami of Ohio. Well, I saw a tweet that said, "Hey, Ohio State fans, your alma maters are playing in the MAC championship this year." I was like, "That's great." I have had good feelings about this Miami team throughout the year against some other people's wills. So I'm going to go ahead and take Miami to win, Miami of Ohio to win the MACtion championship. No, Phil, I'm not picking you. I would pick. But yes, I'm picking Miami.
All right, so I'm going with the Ohio Bobcats in this one. I mean, they're on a 5-game win streak. I mean, their offense has had lots of momentum, scoring 24 or more points in the last couple of games. Defense has only given up 16 points in that span. So give me the Ohio Bobcats.
This is another rematch back in October. Miami beat Ohio. However, I don't think it's easy to beat a team twice in the same year. So go ahead and give me the Bobcats.
I'm rolling with the Red Hawks here
Yeah.
simply because they played my Bowling Green State Falcons and beat them. So that means they're the better team.
I figured
So
you were
give
going
me
to say because
Miami,
you went to a
Ohio.
game this year.
No, they lost to UC. They still suck. They're just the best of the MAC.
All right. Anywho, you're right, but you didn't have to say it like that.
No, I did.
No, you didn't. Georgia versus Texas, SEC championship. Solid game here, I suppose. I don't know. I don't know if it really will be. 4 p.m. ABC on Saturday. I was really high on Texas going this year, so much so that I almost picked them as the champion. Thank the heavens I did not. I don't think this is a championship team. I think this is a first-round exit team, unless they have the bye. They may still lose to the bye. Who knows? Give me Georgia to win this game. I know it's hard to beat a team twice in the same year, but I just don't like the vibes around the Longhorns.
Yeah, for myself, I was going back and forth on this one, though. Like, I'm looking for Georgia's defense to bounce back after giving up over 500 yards to Georgia Tech. I mean, you got two great defenses. I feel like this is going to be a low-scoring game, but I feel like Texas's offense will make a play late, so give me the Longhorns in the SEC.
Take this one, Garrett. I'm looking something up.
Yeah, no. This game, SEC championship, where's it played?
Isn't it in Atlanta?
It is in fact played in Atlanta.
Outstanding choice.
They are playing the SEC championship game an hour from Athens. This is Georgia Bulldogs territory. This is their backyard. You don't think those fans are going to be all over the place in Atlanta? Yeah, give me Georgia Bulldogs to win here and beat them a second time this
Why
year.
is the SEC such an unfair conference? Like, why is it just geared for Alabama and Georgia to win at all times? Like, it's just so stupid.
As for my pick, obviously
that
this
conference.
is another rematch. Georgia won 30-15 with a dominant performance by their defense. I think that happens again. Plus, I don't know if Quinn Ewers is actually the healthiest. So a banged up Quinn Ewers versus that defense is not a good thing.
A healthy
We're about
Quinn
to get the
Ewers
Arch
looked
Manning
pretty bad.
storyline. Oh my God.
Yeah, can't wait to see that 5 times a quarter.
Arch Manning's going to come in and win the game, and then he's never going to leave the starting job.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. Moving on down to the Sun Belt, the Fun
Belt.
The Fun Belt Conference Saturday matchup, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN. Marshall is going up against Louisiana. I am going to go ahead and ride with Garrett's birth state and take Louisiana in this game.
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, overall, this is going to be a great offensive game, though. I expect both these squads to put a lot of points on the board, but I feel like in this matchup, Marshall is going to win it close.
Nah, the Raging Cajuns got it.
Vegas says Louisiana. I'm taking Louisiana. I don't know anything about either team.
Raging Cajuns.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Josh here. I haven't kept up with the Fun Belt really at all this year, but looking at the offensive numbers, Ben said these are two high-powered offenses. Looking at their last 5 though, Louisiana did drop a game to South Alabama at home. So
It
I'm
happens.
gonna go save the graphic and let's go Marshall here.
Save the graphic.
We are.
You're not saving the graphic.
Oh, I'm not.
No, Ben said Marshall.
Oh, okay. Let's go, Ben.
We are Marshall. Not going against your own home state. That's crazy.
I am. Yeah.
Anywho, we have Penn State and Oregon.
Oregon.
The Big Ten Championship.
Want to say it again for the folks?
Oregon.
Saturday, 8 p.m. CBS. What you got, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious, though. It's Oregon. I mean, they're dominant on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. I mean, I feel like that secondary is going to show up, and it's just too much for Penn State, so give me the Ducks.
This as long as James Franklin stays the head coach at Penn State, they will not win big games. Give me Oregon.
I really wish it was anybody but Penn State because I probably would have picked them because I don't think Oregon's going to win the championship because they have not lost a game in the regular season. But we'll just have to wait and cross that bridge when we get there because I don't see James Franklin pulling that finally big win out of his ass. Yep. And ACC rounding out the night, Clemson versus SM. I hear something like Darth Vader noises.
Maybe I'm breathing.
Yeah,
I think that's Josh breathing into the microphone.
I was like, what the? At first, it sounded like it was outside. Anyway, sorry, Josh.
I don't know why I'm sitting so close to the mic.
Yeah, you're just in anticipation, I guess. Anyways, Clemson SMU ACC Championship Saturday, 8 p.m. on ABC. I need for the sanity of me, I need SMU to win this game, so I'm picking SMU to win it.
Yeah, I feel like SMU, they're going to be motivated going into this game, though. I mean, that offense has been difficult to stop, one of the best in the nation, and their college football playoff hopes are on the line. So give me the Mustangs over the Tigers.
Clemson's been here before. SMU has not. Give me Clemson.
That's fair.
I'm going to take that same line of reasoning that Josh gave and flip it on its head, and that SMU has not been there. They're the young bucks ready to take this new format by storm. Give me SMU to win, and win convincingly.
Convincingly?
Yes, I think so. I think this SMU team is a lot better than people give them credit for.
And hopefully they show us all that on Saturday night, but it's going to be a fun slate of conference championship games. I'm excited to watch through all of these. But is there anything, as we wrap up the show, that you guys want to get out there?
Nah. I'd just make sure you tune in on Saturday if you're not watching ESPN and listen to us give our final predictions on the playoffs.
Miami over Alabama.
Miami, SMU, Clemson, South Carolina.
As a side note, this
Ole
ACC
Miss,
championship is the one that is the championship I'm looking forward to the most, because I think this will be the most competitive.
Hot take,
definitely.
Give me Vandy over Alabama. I don't even care. 6-6. Who cares? They
throw
won
them in there.
They
Why
won
not?
the head. Why not, dude? Get Diego Pavia in a playoff. Oh yeah, baby. Let's go.
Just put Kent State in there. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not? They lose by 100, but why not? But thank you all for listening. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. We'll be giving away $50 Fanatics gift card at that live show, so be sure to tune in that live show, subscribe, so you can be entered in that giveaway. And yeah, so thank you, Bill and NK Media Services, for all that you do. Thank you, Garrett, for your work over there in the director's chair. Thank you, co-host, for coming on. Be sure to check us out on Apple and Spotify podcast, so if you want to listen in the car or on your way to work or at a workout, whatever. But yeah, for all now, that is all. We'll see you all in the next one. Peace.